tail of the tape real quick, Brian?
Well, real quick, look for the 6'6" Kelvin Price to keep the shorter guy on the outside.
And we're about ready for this 6th-round heavyweight fight. Here we go. Well, Kelvin Price wants to use that jab. That's his big punch. Makes sense for a 6'6" heavyweight.
And early on, I just want to point out, if it looks like Kelvin Price is trying to fight similar to a Roy Jones, which, you know, just pulling with the jab and trying to throw that left foot, his body position, that's because he used to train in Pensacola, Florida.
Kelvin Price, managed by Mike Borreo, a New York-based attorney, one of the top managers in boxing. And didn't start boxing until he was 29 years old, Kelvin Price. So made his name with his win over one of our Broadway boxing guys, Tor Hamer, who was unbeaten when Kelvin Price upset him. That was back in 2008.
And that's the common opponent for both guys. As you mentioned, Price, his 7th bout, he won a decision over Tor Hamer. And in Rabotte's case, his 6th pro bout, he was knocked out by Tor Hamer in the 2nd round.
Right now, hard to tell what kind of game plan Joe Rabotte has. He's just trying to feel out his man, but you would think that staying at the end of the jab of Kelvin Price would not be the way to go.
Well, I think most guys, which I know was the case with Tor Hamer, most guys, they hear that Kelvin Price is tall, but they don't realize how tall he is until they get in there with him.
Rabotte not offering much offense yet. Remember, it's only a 6-round fight, so he can't give too much away.
Right, the first round he can play with and throw out the window, but after that he has to get to work.
And Joe Rabotte, we've seen him before, as I said, on Broadway Boxing. He's 236. That's in pretty good shape for him. You see a lead left hook by Kelvin Price. But Rabotte's in good shape. He fought in 2010. He claimed he's the busiest heavyweight in the world. He fought 11 times in 2010. This is his 4th fight thus far this year.
And about 20 seconds ago, Rabotte did something very smart. He's against the ropes. He waited for Price to commit with that right hand. When Price committed with the right hand, then he moved inside and he tried to throw a left hook. So it's clear on the outside, you know, let Price jab, jab. If he commit with that right hand, then counter punch.
A little bruise under the left eye of Kelvin Price.
Came into the ring with that bruise.
Got it at the weigh-in. End of 1.
Either way, all you're doing is left hand. I'll listen to you right one time, maybe 2. So you're ready. Go. I need you to come back here. Go. I get a fight now. Go.
We begin round 2 here at Mechanics Hall. Steve Farhood along with Brian Adams. These are heavyweights. Kelvin Price in the green and white trunks, and Joe Rabotte in the red and white trunks. First round relatively uneventful. Kelvin Price trying to get that jab on track, but Rabotte's been moving a little bit, and Rabotte didn't get hit much in the first round. Problem is he didn't do much hitting either.
Right, so you give the first round to Price by default.
Yeah, maybe landed a couple of jabs, but not much else. He did land one lead left hook.
And Kelvin Price does not look like he's willing to engage too much either. He's content with throwing a jab from the outside, keeping a distance.
Well, we're in a world today where we have a lot of heavyweights this size, and you know, the Klitschko's and Lennox Lewis basically wrote the book on how to fight tall, and that's what Kelvin Price is trying to do here. And Rabotte's letting him do it because Rabotte's staying back and moving laterally and backward, not forward.
Correct. You know, 4 inches shorter than the opponent, you have to get low and get inside. And Rabotte is allowing him the room to operate that jab.
By backing up so much, Rabotte's not in a position to counterpunch anyway. And there, Rabotte tried to counter left hook. There's a nice crisp jab. An up jab by Price.
Rabotte just landed a nice jab there.
I didn't like those punches coming from Price.
What Rabotte needs to do, in my opinion, for the next minute, minute and a half, Rabotte should just try to establish a jab and start working a stiff jab himself. Get Price thinking it's going to be a jabbing match. Get Price lazy mentally. See, there you go. Work the jab. Get Price thinking this is going to be a jabbing match. And then you can sneak in some left hooks and right hands to the body.
Well, yesterday at the weigh-in, we spoke with Joe Rabotte, and he told us he's going to counter the jab. He did it once so far effectively this round where he double jabbed. But watch Kelvin Price. The problem I have with him, he's got a long jab and he whips it out there, but the right hand, he's not on balance and he doesn't get a lot of leverage when he follows the jab with the right hand. And that's his problem right now, and that's why he doesn't have more knockouts. He's 10-0 with 6 KOs. See, he's jumping in there with that right hand.
I was just about to say you're right, and if you watch that sequence there, he waits for the guy to get out of position before he jabs. I mean, before he throws the right hand. Then when he throws the right hand, he crosses his back feet. So that's why he's in no position to land a solid right hand.
Rabotte shakes his head no, but that last jab by Kelvin Price landed. We've gone 2 here in Worcester, Mass. We're ready for the start of round 3, scheduled for 6.
And I like those instructions from the corner of Joe Rabotte. His corner told him, counterpunch more. You need to have a high output. You're letting the guy be too comfortable and too relaxed in there.
Kelvin Price extending his arms in the form of a stance, and I don't like that, because when you do that with your left hand, either you have to fire it from that position, as you see now, where you can't get much on it, or you got to bring it back and then let it go, which takes more time.
Well, keep in mind, as I said at the start of the first round, Roy Jones used to do that. But Roy used to hook off of that. But Roy had the speed, he threw 3-4 hooks off of that.
There's only one Roy Jones, right?
Right.
And speaking of Roy Jones, one of Roy Jones' victims, John Ruiz, is here tonight at Mechanics Hall in Worcester. More jabs from Price. He's controlling the action. Rabotte's corner told him move laterally, but the key for Rabotte, he has to counter that jab, and he's not close enough right now to do so. So he's gonna have to step in.
Yeah, Rabotte, there's too much room. But there you go. He just stepped in with 2 punches, but too much room he's giving Price. A tall guy who relies on just a jab, you have to make it uncomfortable for him. Get in, rough him up, throw an elbow or 2 if you have to, but rough him up, make it uncomfortable for him. Rabotte is trying to time a jab, and third round he has yet to do it.
Well, Joe Rabotte's doing what he wants to do. I just don't think it's a ticket for victory. Maybe that's why he's 11-16-1. And the referee claps his hands and says, let's go to these fighters, imploring them to do a little more fighting. Interesting pose and interesting stance there by Price. And he pays the price for having his hands low as Rabotte lands a combination.
And Rabotte has been able to land a few counter punches in this round. Not many, but a few. That's because if you look at Price, he's getting too comfortable in there now.
Referee tells Price that he can't extend his arms like that. And you know, he's much more effective with that jab when he brings it from down low and up jabs than he is when he extends the arm to begin with and jabs from there.
Little blood starting to come out of that swelling under his left eye.
A little bit. And we've gone 3 here.